Hello, this is a Chartprofit video. Approaching 3 hours into the trading day on Friday, 11th of March. So this from the pre-open today. We're looking at the E-mini S&P. 1956.90 down here. The red line is the half range off last year's highest, most important level to monitor at the moment. You can see that all the recent value areas here have been printed above that level, a strong price location. So pre-open today, we've seen a series of value areas at these higher levels consolidating around 1990, which has emerged as a minor 30-day point of control. Price relative to that level might be useful to monitor as a guide to short-term strength and weakness, remembering that as long as the E-mini holds above that level here, 1956.90, it's in a long-term strong price location. Also said that with the breadth numbers supportive and the sentiment still indicating lots of bears, I would want to see significant selling marked below this level down here before considering the short side. And also mention this equivalent half range on the SPY chart, which we'll look at in a second. So here's the level on the live chart. This is the E-mini. Here's that half range level down here, and the 30-day up here at 1990. That's just about the low overnight here, and we're having a really strong end to the week. And the equivalent half range level on the spider comes on the the spider comes in here, and that was the low yesterday. That can be a very powerful pattern, just the higher low on the halfway point. So as long as price stays above this level on the spider, a strong price location. We've seen last week that in the longer time frame, the large caps, like the spider, the Dow Jones we're looking at here, the diamonds, outperforming small caps like the Russell 2000 ETF. Just a stronger price location, all this action here above the halfway point. And you can see the contrast there with the Russell 2000. Qs is an interesting chart from this low. If you remember, we looked at this last week, to this high halfway point is this dotted line here, and we saw that pattern actually on that halfway point. We've now come up to probe this week into this major at 105.13. We're actually finishing the week above that level. And this is a really good chart. I've just removed the larger quadrants there, and you can see that the half range from the high to this low, which is the next half range of importance, is very close to that major level, that major point of control. So this is a doubly important level to monitor going into next week. And as long as Q stays above that point, we are in a really strong price location here. Okay, this is the New York breadth chart. The daily breadth indicators through yesterday. You can see these two indicators at the bottom here sitting in powerful positions above their levels. Bullish percent numbers here, that's a percentage of stocks greater than their 50-day moving average, up around 80, so 80% of the stocks in my New York list now printing above their 50-day moving average. Can often represent an oversold level, but we're coming off a major market low over here, and this is more of a thrust type indication. So these two indicators here giving us this green section here still on the breadth. And you can see the price momentum underneath is very positive. Just slight worry is we're just tailing off a little bit, so momentum is just losing ground a little bit here. The most important thing on this chart though to me is this halfway point here, as we've just seen, and the fact that we have been consolidating and seem to have just had a rejected test of that level, which can often lead to another leg up. So as long as price stays above here, I'll reiterate, most important chart, we're in a strong price location. Quick look at the European charts. This is the German DAX index major level here. 96.65 is the major, and again we've been consolidating apart from the dip below yesterday on the announcement. Quickly recovered that level. This is all consolidation above a major point of control, and again that can be a powerful pattern. And here on the UK FTSE 100 chart, we have closed above the 12-month 61.08. We've closed above that level here. This chart's still below its half range, and that may well be resistance as it was here. So we have previous resistance at this point, even though that wasn't halfway at the time. But price above here would be even more powerful. I expect resistance at that level. But you can see that powerful pattern again that we mentioned last week, which was the higher low on the major here. Okay, we look at the supporting charts. This is the 7 to 10 Treasury ETF, IEF, and we looked at bonds last week, and we looked at the level of overboughtness on the weekly charts, and it still seems to be playing out. We're on the low of the week here. It's looking like equity and strong price location and weakness in the bonds. And the TLT chart, the Treasury bond chart, looks a little different. We look at the major high, which was early last year, back over here to the low. We have the halfway point here. Now that may well be support, but we're heading this way pretty quickly. Price below here would be the key to bonds, I think, going into next week. If we see price below there and printing time below that level, we'll probably see a further leg down. Oil has been driving sentiment for a good while, with the equity markets following price of oil with a very close correlation for many months. We saw the emergence, as mentioned last week, of the 5 month here at exactly 9 on this chart, which is the United States Oil Fund ETF, and we are higher from there. In fact, we're printing out to a new high just for this move off the low. We talked about this chart last week, GLD, the gold ETF. The major had rallied to 115.50 in here, and we saw a little bit of support here and consolidation above that level. It was overbought by our measures on the weeklies, and we talked about that, but the fact that the point of control had migrated higher and we consolidated above it is usually a indication of strength, and that level at 115.50 likely to be solid support if it should be tested. Here's the levels we've been following on the dollar index chart. This halfway point here, and the 2-year point of control at 97.40, and we're finishing the week below both these levels in a weak price location, with oil and gold higher and the dollar struggling here. Euro chart has moved back into a position of strength at the end of this week. The halfway point of this major low to this high, as we know and we've been watching, comes in here, and we are printing above that level at the moment. That's strong price location. Looking at the short side of this chart really until we see price back below the 12-month down here. Pound also having a really strong week again, printing well above its 4-month, which is 142.60 in here. Have very few levels of significance above that.